Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be making a guide on Goddess of Genesis, and I will try to make a tier list based on my own opinion. So if you have different opinion, feel free to leave it in the comments below. Anyway, the game coming out on June 9th, and I think many people anticipating its release in English, and I hope you will enjoy this tier list. Again, this is just my personal opinion based on the experience that I had with the Chinese version of the game. Let's start off the bat with the heroes that you don't want to invest into, and that would be Cleopatra. She's an archer. Next one would be Gabriel, that's a mage, and last one would be Marie, that's another mage. So these three heroes, basically you pretty much never see them. They are not used in any content, but let's go over them in a bit of details. Maybe you will see why they are not being used. So Cleopatra is an archer. She has poison. Poison reduces by a low percentage of physical and magical defense, and she doesn't have high damage, and she doesn't have like anything special that would distinguish her from other damage dealing units. And this one is Gabriel. She's a frost mage, and she specializes in extending duration of debuffs on the enemy, that's pretty much never useful. Like you never want a fight to be very long. You want to finish fights as soon as possible, and there's just no application where you want to extend debuffs. Even if you take, for example, a boss battle, you still want to kill boss rather than just prolonging debuffs on him or her. And that's again why she doesn't see much play. Marie is specializing in debuffs, in applying debuffs, but her damage is low, and she, as all other mages, she only has AoE attacks, same as Gabriel pretty much. And when mage is dealing low damage and doesn't bring anything else, like her debuffs are not particularly viable. That's why again you pretty much don't see her unless you don't have anyone better to use. And right now we are going over SSR tier list. If you want to see SR tier list, I will try to make it later on. But anyway, that's why they are all in D tier. Let's try our go on a C tier. So first one would be Athena. Next one would be Abeno. And last one, Tamamo. And Athena, she's one of the healers in the game. They're called supporters, but she basically, her primary role is healing, and she's not the best at her role. That's why she's in this C tier. I mean, she heals, but she doesn't provide anything outstanding to the table. Abeno, he's able to freeze opponents, and the reason freezes are good is because your opponent cannot act in this turn, so they will have to pass with this hero if they got frozen, and that's his basically main use. But he can be also used for that role from the support slot. You don't need to have him on the main team. And also there is the SI hero Medusa, which pretty much fills the same role. She's able to petrify opponent heroes, and that's why Abeno is not seeing much use outside of the support slot. Even later on you won't see him in the support slot, because investing in SSI heroes is expensive, and he doesn't bring much damage. Tamamo, on the other hand, she's assassin, and she does decent damage, and her perk is that she's able to gain a physical and magical dodge, but dodge is not something that you can guarantee. For example, if your hero got petrified or stunned or frozen, then they will not be able to dodge, and that's why your usefulness later on falls off, and that's why she is currently in the C tier. Next one we'll go to B tier, and B tier pretty much will be both warriors, Hades and Michael. I'm not sure what was developers' design behind warriors. They're supposed to have higher survivability than the archers and assassins, but in reality they don't. So if you go over the skills, Michael has a revive, whenever his HP reaches 0, he instead revives with HP depending on basically on star level. The higher the like it starts, I believe, from 60% and goes up to 100. But whenever he revives, he doesn't have any buffs that was applied to him before death, so it's not like a super useful mechanic. And Hades, he does have a high damage on paper. Like when you read his skills, one of his skills is able to one-shot opponent that's below 50% HP, but he doesn't have any defensive skills, and like you don't want your damage dealer to be so vulnerable that he's been focused on the first round and dying and not contributing anything at all. And we are talking mainly right now for PvP. For PvE, you can pretty much use anything, even SR heroes. Like you don't need SSR heroes unless we will be getting content later on. But you don't basically want to invest into SSI hero just to complete PvE content. If you can also use him for PvP, that's when you want to invest into SSR hero. Next one, we go to A tier, and in A tier, first one would be Chang'e, and Chang'e, she's very close to S tier. Basically, she is the first one who I would put in S tier among all A tier heroes, and the reason for that is because she will be very useful later on in the game. It's hard to get any value out of her in the first few months, that's why she's not S tier, quite S tier, but she will be useful later on. And what's her special is that she's able to put a sphere in front of your team, and that sphere taunts opponents and also reduces AoE damage to your team, and that's extremely helpful. It means you don't have to run defender, you can just run a supporter, but the problem is you will need to invest into her, and it's not easy in the beginning, especially when you're trying to invest into a damage dealer. That's why she's A tier, but she's basically the best in A tier if you're choosing out of anyone. Next one in A tier would be Lucifer. Lucifer is an assassin, and everyone will get her for free by completing the quests that you're getting as a beginner. Like as soon as you create an account, on the top left you will see a chain of quests that unlock every day, up to 7 days, and then I believe you have up to 10 days to complete, and you don't have to complete them all, you just only have to complete 30 out of 35 and you will get here. And she's very strong in the beginning. She eventually will fall off, and her special is that after killing an opponent with an ultimate, she gains another another chance to attack, another chance to use an ability, and that's very strong in the beginning when people don't have good gear. She pretty much can one-shot 2 opponents in the first round before giving any chance to opponent to react, like to apply buffs, shields, taunts, and so on. So I highly recommend you to invest into her, because everyone will be getting her for free. Basically, why not? Next one is Isabella. She's a healer, and she's the best healer in the game. Basically, I don't know what much, like whatever you want pretty much from a healer, she does it. She has strong heals, she has 2 healing abilities, and yes, later on you will probably see meta with 2 defender, Isabella, and that's pretty much cancer, because you can't kill anyone, they're able to heal up, they're able to sustain, and yeah, if you need a healer, basically Isabella will fulfill all your needs. Next one we have is Dracula. Basically Dracula and Valkyrie, they're the same, they perform the same role. Dracula, he's able to apply a shield that's splits damage from your teammates to him. So the higher the skill level goes, the more percentage. Basically, let's say 20% of your teammates damage will go into him instead. He also has some mechanics being invulnerable when his HP reaches 0, and he has lifesteal abilities, so he's hard to kill, and he's basically there to stall the game. Like if you want your games to be longer, if you don't want your opponents one-shotting your heroes, he's there to go for. And also he will be on initial banner. Basically, in case you didn't know, when the game launches, there will be two banners. One banner will be Michael and Dracula, and another one will be Lucifer and Valkyrie. So that's about Dracula. Valkyrie, she is another defender, and she also will be really strong from the beginning until mid-game, I would say. And her special is that she applies shield on everyone, and that's one of her abilities. And second ability is to guard another ally, so like she will reduce that's ally damage. And also Dracula doesn't have this ability, but other counters, including other defenders, including Valkyrie, will have this ability. Is that whenever opponent attacks your other hero with a single target ability, and if Valkyrie is not petrified, stunned, or frozen, then she will be able to take hit for him instead. Basically, those three heroes that you can see, they will form a very strong team, like core team, that are able to sustain your other heroes. So let's say if you are running Isabella, Dracula, Valkyrie, Lucifer, and one of the heroes that will go over later on, that will be a pretty strong team in PvP and PvE. And lastly, let's go over S tier heroes. For that would be Lilith and Merlin. And that are basically the best heroes. You want to start with them if you can. They will be relevant for a very long time. They're still relevant on a Chinese server, where basically game initially came out. They're, I would say, about 8 months ahead of us. Yeah, those two heroes are the best ones that you can start out with, and I highly encourage you to get any of them, or both if you can. Merlin, I believe, will be on a banner after initial two banners go out. Lilith, I'm not sure when her banner will be, but basically, let's go over the heroes. Merlin, she has a special ability that allows her to attack all opponents whenever some of your teammates use an AoE ability. So each time some of your teammates use an AoE ability, Merlin will also attack you. That attack will not be very strong, like as your normal, let's say, ultimate or special ability, but because it works throughout whole battle, and the more teammates you have with AoE, the more damage Merlin will do. And her own abilities, beside that special one that triggers of Alice AoE, her ultimate ability also deals a lot of damage. Basically, she is the highest dealing mage in the game, and still up to this date. That's why she's S tier. And you want to have some mages, because some enemies will be immune to physical damage. That's why you want to use mages. And yeah, there weren't any hero released that would deal more AoE damage than her. And Lilith, on the other hand, she is assassin, and she deals strong single target damage, although she has an AoE, but the difference between her and other assassins is because she has a survivability kit built into her. Like, she has a stealth mechanic, and what stealth does is it doesn't allow opponent to target your hero with single target skills. Basically, they can hit an AoE because AoE doesn't require targeting, but they cannot hit it with single target skills, and that's why she's still prevalent. Like, she starts to fall off in the meta in Chinese server, but she will be used in PvE, and she's very hard hitting hero. And yeah, basically these two are what you want to go for. And lastly, you will probably notice we have one more hero. She will not be on initial release, but people will probably be asking me who you need to save currency, premium currency and tickets for after satisfied with the initial roster, and that's basically the hero you want to save for. Whenever she's released, her name is Artemis. Whenever she's released, she will be SS tier, so she will be even better than these two heroes, than Lilith and Merlin. And she's archer type, and what's so special about her, even though you might say that it's a spoiler because she's not an initial release, but she's extremely broken, and what she does is that whenever someone is killing an opponent, either her or someone out of your teammates killing an opponent, she attacks again. And so you can imagine if someone on your team, even not necessarily who eliminates another opponent, she is able to attack again. If your attack, that second attack, eliminates another opponent, she's able to attack again. Whoever has Artemis and goes first with it basically wins the battle. And yeah, that's extremely strong here. I would recommend everyone to save for her and pull. Stacking up heroes will be hard because you can farm shards for them, but it takes a long time. So if you can get multiple copies of her to 6-star her as soon as possible, that would be your best bet. Basically, that's a tier list. I hope you enjoyed it. I will try to make more guides and tips and tricks on Goddess of Genesis whenever it comes to global. If you like the video, please hit the like button, subscribe for more videos. Thank you, and stay safe, everyone.